You know, every record collector has had that moment where they feel like I've got nothing to listen to. You know, just nothing inspires me. And I've got various tools to pull me out of that funk, from flipping through stuff and looking at things online. And one thing I've recently been doing is I pulled up Souljazz's discography. Yeah, I'm talking about Souljazz again. One of the greatest compilations label, formed in 1991 in London. And I pulled up a list of Souljazz compilations, and I guarantee if you do that, you're going to find something that they've done a compilation on a genre that you like, and you didn't know they put out a compilation of. Bossajazz, look at that. Is this 1 or 2? Volume 1, and there's a second one, which I could only find in Japan. And a couple of years ago, I pulled out all my Bossajazz records, and I made a section for Bossajazz, just so when I'm in the mood, I don't have to dig through the collection. They're all in one place. Well, I mean, bossanova, if you're not familiar with the term, it means new trend or new style. It's a blend of samba and jazz. And really, the whole trend for bossanova jazz, and I'm talking about jazz artists, like American jazz artists, doing bossanova-themed records, kind of started with this Getz album, Jazz Samba, in '62. And it was so wildly successful that within a couple years, jazz artists all over the place were doing albums dedicated to bossa nova. You had Cannonball Adderley, Gene Ammons, Ramsey Lewis, Ike Quebec, Coleman Hawkins, and one of my favorites, which doesn't sound like a typical in the mold of Stan Getz bossa records, is this Barney Kessel. Wow, what a party this is. I mean, if you ever get a chance to pick this up, and Barney Kessel's not cool. It's not hip to collect Barney Kessel. It's not like, you know, I got a mono blue note pressing. So this will be cheap if you find it, and this is one of the more exciting of the jazz guys doing bossa. Having said this, the collection I'm talking about on Souljazz is not American jazz guys doing bossa nova. It's Brazilian guys doing bossa jazz, or what they call hard samba, samba jazz, or hard bossa. So I'm gonna take advantage of this and look at the list of artists on here and see which ones I don't have. I mean, there are artists I do have on here: Airto, Damu Romano, Tamba 4, Milton Banana. I think I've got about 3/4 of this covered, but there's probably a few artists on here that I don't. So this will be another great way to explore and grow the record collection, and that's really what it's all about. You take something that you discover and expound from that, and you can discover more things. Next up, yeah, I'm back on my dub kick. I like dub in the summertime because I'm sure because it comes from Jamaica, I equate it with warm weather. And also, if you ever see heat rippling off like asphalt, it kind of looks like the pattern of the rippling, echoing dub music. So to me, it's a natural summer music that I pull. So this is Creation Rebel, Starship Africa. It's their 4th album, came out in 1980, and more importantly, it's an Adrian Sherwood production. It was on Your Sound, which was his label, and it's one of his most influential works. It's one of the most influential works in later day dub. It was early in his career. He was kind of pushed, from what I read about this album, he was pushed to take the effects as far out as they could go. And comparisons to this album can be made to long Grateful Dead jams and early Tangerine Dream albums. Not that this is you're gonna mistake this for Tangerine Dream or Grateful Dead when you hear it, but it's in the same headspace. It's a long swim in a deep pool of freak out. It just goes on, and it gets deeper and crazier. And it's only 2 tracks. It's broke up into movements, 5 movements on side 1, 4 movements on side 2. And it's one of Sherwood's most interesting and spaced out records of his early career. I read a review online that said it's a psychedelic masterpiece of minimalistic dub and cosmic music. And I'd highly recommend you look at it online if you're a fan of dub, and see what you think. Another dub one, I love Mad Professor. I love Scientist and Mad Professor records. I feel like a kid opening a toy on Christmas. It's just, the covers are great. The music's fun. Again, it's summer music. This is his 2nd album from '82. And Mad Professor was a 2nd generation of dub guys, first being like Lee Perry and King Tubby. And he was the guy who really brought dub into the digital age, along with Scientist. Born in Guyana, moved to London when he was 13, so he's a London-based dub guy. And he collaborated starting in '84 with a lot of stuff with Lee Perry, so Lee Perry is kind of considered a mentor to Mad Professor, much in the same way that King Tubby was a mentor to scientist. So that's it. Listen to dub music this summer.